Manga.
When I was a junior in high school, my dad passed away. My mum was in the hospital at the time and she passed away a few months after that. She was fighting cancer for years, and I had two little brothers, so money was tight. I decided to get a job right after high school to support my family. After our parents died, our grandparents took us in. Looking after three teenage boys couldn't have been easy, but they never complained once.
Eat up.
I'm gonna start working right after high school. Don't worry about money. Go to college. They even offered to pay for my education. But they were almost retired. There was no way they could put us all through college. So I politely declined the offer. A few years later, I graduated from high school. Then I moved out of the city, got a good job, and got to work. I sent money to my grandparents every month for more than 10 years. My grandparents were always worried about me. You don't have to do this. We'll be fine. Go live your life. They said to me every time I came home. But I didn't stop. It was the least I could do. Then, my younger brother. I want to go to college. So he went on to college. He even went to graduate school afterwards. My youngest brother went to college as well. Then, a year later, I got a call. My second older brother was getting married. But then, he said he didn't want me there. He was embarrassed that I wasn't a college graduate. And he was mad at me too. Growing up, I always paid more attention to my youngest brother and he didn't like that. That was true, but that's only because my mum was always at the hospital. He was a baby at the time. Someone had to take care of him. And the thing is, I paid for half of his tuition, so this made me really upset. My grandparents got furious when they heard about this. I even paid for his graduate school, so... But, as it turns out, he just wanted to go to college to party. He only went on to graduate school so he could party for another 2 years. So basically, he used me. And now he was telling me to screw off. My grandparents told him to pay me back for all the money I spent on him. And my youngest brother tried to talk to him as well. What's wrong with you? He put you through college. But it was no use. His mind was made up. And once he decides something, he never changed his mind. He's always been stubborn like this. I worked my arse off for years to put him through college. I didn't even know what to think anymore. But then, something unexpected happened. His fiancé's parents found out about what he said to me. They always wondered how he was putting himself through college, so one day they asked him. So he told them that I was supporting the family after our parents died, so they knew about me. They were really touched by his story. They were looking forward to meeting me at the wedding. But now, he was saying he didn't want me there, because I wasn't a college graduate. And when they found out, they got furious. They told him he couldn't marry their daughter anymore. But then, he blamed me for it. They called the marriage off. It's all your fault. I wasn't sure what to tell him. At this point, I didn't care anymore. You did this to yourself. Screw you. That's what you get for disrespecting me like that. But it's true. You didn't go to college. I don't want you embarrassing me at my wedding. Embarrass you? How? I went to a graduate school. I don't want people finding out I got a brother who didn't even go to college. Seriously. I got a job right after high school to put you through school. You realise that, right? And you only wanted to go so you can party. Unbelievable. Shut up! I never asked you to do this, and you never told me money was tight. I was speechless. I worked like crazy for years for my family, but he didn't give a crap. No wonder my grandparents couldn't convince him. Fine, I've heard enough. I should have never wasted all that money on you. I want it back. All of it. Huh? I can't do that. I don't have that kind of money. Then stop complaining. If you're going to complain, pay me back first. Otherwise, keep your damn mouth shut. He went silent after that. I guess he was finally starting to realise that he messed up. College was very expensive these days, and he didn't have nearly enough money to pay me back. Then, get the hell out of our house. After everything your brother did for you, don't ever come back here again. My grandparents kicked him out of the house. And my youngest brother. He worked his arse off to pay for your education. What the hell is wrong with you? Seriously? You're unbelievable, you know that. You make me sick, he said to him. Then, his ex-fiancée.
I was looking forward to meet your brother. I knew the things he did for you. So, and same with my parents. But you ruined everything. You're a horrible person. I'm just glad that I realized that before it was too late.
And she left him for good. He called me a few days later. Please tell everyone that we're cool now. Please, I'm going to lose everything. Why would I help you? I don't care about you anymore. Screw you. Oh, come on, I'm your little brother. You're the one that betrayed me. You're dead to me. Don't ever call me again. Please, you're all I got now. He kept begging me, but my mind was made up. I wanted nothing to do with him. I wasn't asking him to thank me for the things I did for him, and I never once regretted my decision to start working right after high school. But after everything he said to me, I never wanted to see him again. I decided to cut all ties with him, and everyone else in the family did the same. He had nothing now. Sucks for him, but he did this to himself. I basically raised him after our parents died, so I felt partially responsible for the way he turned out, but he's a grown man now, so not my problem. Anyways, I'm glad everything worked out. One day I came home from work to find a letter in my mailbox from the superintendent. I opened the sealed envelope and found a piece of paper with the message, "I need to talk to you about the noise during the day." What noise are they talking about? I mean, during the day, I'm at work during the week, and I'm usually out on weekends. I come home most nights just to sleep, so I couldn't possibly have any idea what it was about. The sad corporate life. Maybe someone is extremely sensitive, but I'm not home in the first place. Anyway, let's check with the management company. The next day, I decided to use my lunch break at work to call the management company. I was notified that there had been a complaint.
Yes, I heard that most of them are on weekdays during the day. May I visit you to hear more about it?
Okay. The management company said that they had received numerous complaints, but the word weekdays stuck with me. They seemed to want to hear what was going on and resolve the situation as quickly as possible, so I suggested to come over if it was okay with them after I finished work. I went back to my apartment after work and waited for them at the entrance. I entered the room with the man from the management company to take a look at the room.
I don't find anything particularly suspicious.
I don't much spend that much time at home in the first place, so...
I see. Certainly not too messy for a man living alone.
After that, he asked me several questions, such as the time of day I usually use my appliances. But when he found out that there was nothing suspicious about me...
It's not very likely, but if it's not you, there is a possibility that someone else is in. Have you given someone a duplicate key? Or have you dropped or lost it recently?
What? I didn't give anyone a duplicate key, and I didn't drop it. It's just the one I have in my possession. I mean, wait a minute. Just the thought of anyone else having a key gives me the creeps.
But there are complaints about noise during the day, even if it's not you, so...
That's true. But it was creepy to even think about a third party entering my apartment without my permission. It's like a horror story. Because the entrance to the entrance of this apartment is auto-locked. The code for the auto-lock is changed once a year, but the contract basically allows families to be informed if only he or she reports it. But I don't have a family.
Well, the fastest way to find out is to check with the surveillance cameras. Let's take a look together.
I was terrified, thinking that this would be even more horrifying if there really was someone in the video. The man from the management company told me that the surveillance cameras were left running and that any video up to a month old would be stored. Thank you, Mr. Surveillance Camera, for watching over us 24/7. The first surveillance camera records the entrance I saw, narrowing it down to my work day, etc. Showed me going to work normally. This apartment is not so frequented by people coming in and out. I noticed something unusual while watching the camera. This woman, isn't there something wrong with her? A woman was recorded entering the entrance as if she was waiting for me to leave for work.
Oh, you're right. If she's not touching the pin machine, maybe she's pressing the emergency release code.
Emergency release? What is that?
Oh, there's a common code that certain people in these apartments can use to open the door in an emergency.
I see.
That's out, though. The only people who would know the code in case of a problem would be men, including me.
What? That's strange. The person I saw was definitely a woman. I'm listening to the man's words and I'm finally getting scared.
But I don't see a face in the reflection.
That's true. But this woman, she's walking towards my room. I had a bad feeling as I watched the footage. Then the woman stopped in front of my room and started shoving something through the crack in the door, shuffling around. What is this woman doing? The door opened easily from the side where I was thinking that. You're kidding me! How did she open the door if she didn't have the key?
Maybe she picked through the cracks.
Picking? That's totally a crime. Then suddenly the woman turns to the camera and her face appears on the screen.
Oh, there's her face.
This person.
You know her?
We were in the same club in college, but we didn't talk much. We only said hello to each other.
Is it someone else then?
No, it's not a mistake. It's definitely Eiko.
Well, she's already broken in. I think you should check it out properly, since she knows where you live.
Right. How does she even know where I live? It's been years since I graduated from college.
I think you should go to the police.
Then I went to the police, like the man told me to. Told them what happened, and they checked the cameras. Then, on a weekday, after taking a break from work and waiting with the police, the officers rushed in and arrested Eiko when they saw her enter the room as expected. I was with the police officer, and as soon as Eiko saw me...
You finally came to see me. I missed you so much.
And jumped on me to hug me. Of course the police officer seized her, but it was seriously terrifying. Eiko, not knowing what was going on.
I'm so happy. You wanted to see me, didn't you? That's why you came home so early, right?
She said. The guy from the management company, and even the police officer looked at me, checking if she really wasn't my girlfriend. I really wanted them to give me a break. No, she's not. At the police station, Eiko was interrogated, and this was terrifying. Why did you go into someone else's room? What was your motive? The policeman asked her, and she answered in a nonchalant manner.
What do you mean? Because I'm his girlfriend, of course.
She said. When the police came to check on me, I shook my head violently and denied it. I barely knew Eiko. When I told them I hadn't seen her in years, the cops were shaking their heads too. Apparently, Eiko fell in love with me at first sight when we were in college, and sometimes our eyes would meet, which made her think I liked her. She's been having a secret love affair since then. After college, she looked me up on Instagram and identified the apartment from the landscape of the photos I was putting up. As for the location of the room, she found out from the fact that the management company had put my last name on the mailbox inside the entrance for easy recognition. Incidentally, the emergency code in question was figured out from the hand movements of a maintenance worker who was opening it for maintenance and tried several different ways to open it until it opened.
It's the power of love.
Oh, that's the stalker. It seems that it's common for stalkers to be unaware that their behaviour is strange. Apparently after Eiko entered my room, she imagined being embraced by me as she sniffed my bed, snuggling under the covers. Oh! When I heard this story, I felt nauseous and immediately decided to buy a new bed. So apparently, the noise in question was caused by Eiko diving onto the bed and getting excited and flailing around. I'm not sure if I should say this, but Eiko's body is twice as big as mine, and she seems to be heavy. I also heard that Eiko took hidden photos of me and put them together in a photo frame in her room, and even to those around her.
He's my boyfriend, but he's so busy with work right now, I only get to see him once in a while.
She said. After she was arrested, I got a restraining order against her, but she didn't learn her lesson at all, and she contacted me, so they put her behind bars the second time around.
Why are you separating from me, my darling?
I don't want Eiko to come out again, but she will eventually, and I don't want her to identify me as her boyfriend again next time. So I decided to take the plunge and quit my job, moved out of my apartment and moved to another prefecture. I'm not the type of person to make people misunderstand me, and I only talked to Eiko a few times, so I couldn't help but wonder how she got it so twisted. I deleted my Instagram so I can never be located again, and I'm going to live quietly in a new place.
My grandpa saved me once. The school that I was attending was famous for having strict rules. The skirts must be 4 inches below your knee, your hair if longer than your shoulders must be tied up, and if short, you must follow a specific cut. Of course, there was no way you could dye your hair or do any piercings or makeup. The rules were definitely outdated. Then one day, after the morning announcements, the gym teacher asked me to come to the school office. I had no idea what was going on, so I headed to the office. Then he just glared at my hair and said,
"You need to fix your hair by tomorrow."
"Huh? What are you talking about?" I asked him because I wasn't sure. He replied. Then the other gym teacher that was there said,
"Don't act like you don't know what we're talking about!"
He was upset enough to yell at me. I had always swam since I was in elementary school. However, swimming every day caused my hair to lose some color, causing it to be more brown than normal. I didn't swim in the pool during the winter, so it was fine. But during the sun would reflect off my hair and it would look extremely bright. After explaining everything, they said that I used it as an excuse to dye my hair. They both yelled and chewed me out for another 30 minutes. It was a girls-only school, so they were only teachers who were men. I didn't really have any kind of resistance towards them. They were also the gym teachers, so they were pretty big men. I was completely shaken up after 2 grown adult men were yelling at me. I thought they were wrong, but I couldn't even imagine saying anything back to them. That's why I went to the hair salon to ask them if they could vouch for my hair losing color through no fault of my own. They wrote a little paper detailing my hair and its properties, which I submitted to the teachers. They didn't care at all.
Stop making excuses! If you went to the salon, you should stop wasting their time by having them write this useless paper! Dye your hair black!
They were actually more angry and pulled my hair. I was scared and in pain, so I started crying. I asked help from my teacher and the swim team teacher, but both of them said, "I don't know," and just continued to mumble. They must have been scared too, so they were no help at all. When you dyed at a beauty salon, it would be expensive, so I decided to just buy some dye on my own, but it was the summer, so it was all out of my hair within 2 days. They had marked me, so they just kept calling me up to the office and yelling at me every day. Male teachers were scary, and I had my hair yanked left and right. I was hurting every time, and I could feel my mental state declining fast. I should quit swimming. I don't want to go to school. I was honestly in a dark place before I asked my parents for help. After hearing my situation, my parents lost it.
"I'm going to go talk to the principal right now. No! I'm going to take this to the PTA!"
My grandfather, who was quietly listening, said,
"You need to fix your hair by tomorrow." "I'm going to go with you to school tomorrow, so hang on a second, okay?"
I was confused. "Where are you gonna go?"
You just leave it to me.
I didn't understand, but he was just smiling the whole time, so I couldn't really say no. The next day, I went to school with Grandpa, all while not understanding why. As soon as I got to school, my grandpa said,
You go to class like usual, okay?
He smiled once again as he headed to the school office. I was called to the office during class, so I headed to the principal's office. There was my grandpa sitting across from the 2 gym teachers and the principal. I'd only ever known my grandpa as a jolly old man, but this time he was glaring at them with a look I'd never seen before.
You pulled a teenage girl's hair without listening to a reason. Not only that, but you made her cry. Explain! I'm so sorry!
The second he yelled, the 3 got out of their chairs and started begging.
You're apologizing to the wrong person! Ah!
The 3 were scolded and shortly after turned towards me before saying,
I'm so sorry for suspecting you of anything, Tanako-san. I'm sorry for any kind of violence I've inflicted upon you.
They were begging for my forgiveness. I had no idea what was going on. I was just staring at them on the ground. The gym teacher, the principal, my grandfather, I couldn't figure out a connection no matter how hard I tried. From what was going on, I could tell that my grandfather was at the top of the chain. My grandpa smiled at me like usual and told me to go back to class. Yeah, sure. The normally scary gym teachers were trembling, no color in their faces. I was really confused at the whole thing. I decided to just listen to Grandpa and head back to class. After this, they stopped messing with me just like Grandpa promised. I was always a little scared when I'd see them, but if anything, they would be afraid of me now. They stopped saying anything about my hair, so I was able to go to school and focus on my academics and extracurriculars with no worries. I asked my grandpa later on what that was about, but apparently he was a judo master in college. That's how he was connected to those three. My grandpa was the principal's superior in college. The gym teachers were even lower than that. Apparently Teacher B wasn't in the same college, but they would often be at similar events. My grandfather was so incredible at judo that they were unable to even come close to his level. Thinking back now, he would often watch judo shows on TV and would make accurate and specific comments. He always seemed to chill and relax, so I really didn't think that he would be someone who's that incredible and versed in judo. I was shocked that he would do that much for me. I found this out later on, but apparently the two teachers were actually being abusive towards other students as well. The students that had shed a tear because of their doing also started coming out and explaining the terrors they had experienced. My grandfather then went to talk to the principal, getting the PTA involved as well. The two gym teachers were sentenced to verbal warnings since it wasn't considered physical violence. But apparently the parents who heard about what they had done weren't satisfied. They started pressuring the school to fire them. The school had to act because they were afraid that the media would probably sniff this out and make a story out of it. The two ended up being fired. The principal was also going to be punished in one way or another. I honestly felt like it was too easy on them. A well-adjusted adult would never pull a girl's hair. Apparently, a lot of girls went home crying because of them too. If I were a parent, I don't think that I could back down from that either. My parents actually were going to go to the PTA if my grandfather didn't do anything either. They were abusing their position of power, so they deserved to be punished. The school rules were being made extra strict by those two, so after they left, the rules became a little more relaxed. As a result, a lot of the general rules were also relaxed a little, and the students were overjoyed. I felt so happy to have explained and asked for help from my family. I have nothing but appreciation towards my grandfather. After the two teachers left, I have been enjoying my time and swimming with no hesitation.
That day, I was at the public swimming pool with my 4-year-old daughter and my husband. We used to take a trip every year as a family. But because I was pregnant, we couldn't take my daughter anywhere, let alone a vacation. But I'm finally in my stable period, and the three of us were at the pool, promising to be careful. I had chosen a bathing suit that covered my belly, but because my belly is so big, people could tell I was pregnant.
Mom, let's go swimming.
I'm fine. Go on and play with Dad instead.
Okay.
My daughter happily plays with the children's slide with my husband as I watch and wave. It was a weekday and the pool was relatively empty, but a group of high school boys were making a lot of noise.
Take that! Stop it!
They were splashing the water with both hands, causing others to get splashed as well, which made them look annoying. Such bad manners, I thought, and then I left the place for a bit.
Mom, I want some juice.
We'll have to wait quite a while for your turn, so I'll go get you one. Tanako, stay there.
Okay, thanks. I watched a family with children while my husband went with our daughter to buy some drinks. We're going to be a family of 4 soon. I can't quite feel it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. As I was thinking about this, the high school kids from earlier came toward me, making a lot of noise. I unconsciously took a step toward the poolside to avoid them, not wanting to get involved. As I was doing so, I turned my back to the group of students and tried not to make eye contact with them, when suddenly...
Look at that fatty. Gross. How can she come to the pool with that ugly body? She needs to look at herself in the mirror. Hey, you're out of line. It's fine, it's the truth.
I couldn't help but glance toward a group of students to such words. Then, with the person who said that, our eyes met.
What are you looking at? Don't get in my sight with that ugly look.
Whoa! My body plunged into the pool. And that pool was a wave experience pool. A pool where you could experience big waves at a certain time, and in some places the water was up to 3 meters deep. And where I fell was in the deep part. I panicked because I couldn't get my footing, but still managed to swim somewhere I could. But then my foot got stuck and I drowned.
Help!
Luckily, the staff noticed me right away and pulled me out of the water.
Are you okay?
But my body was too heavy since I was pregnant and I couldn't respond right away.
Mommy!
What happened? Are you alright? Your wife seems to have fallen into the pool. There is an infirmary. Would you like to rest there?
Then my husband, who had brought drinks for me and my daughter, came and rushed over to me. I was pushed into the pool.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, there was a group of high school students at the pool who were making a lot of noise, and it was one of them.
I won't forgive them. Why did they do that?
I was so scared. I couldn't get my footing and my legs were cramping up. I didn't know what was going to happen.
You're fine now. I'm gonna find out who did this. I'll never let them get away with this.
We left after that. My husband called the pool manager and the police to explain the details of the accident. And because I was pregnant, an investigation was immediately launched, and shortly after, I received a call that a high school boy who was believed to be the culprit has been found. But the high school boy claims he did not verbally abuse me or push me down. My husband and I were outraged by this.
My wife actually fell into the pool?
My husband said so, but since there were no witnesses at this point, we had to discuss it with the other party.
You've got to be kidding me. It's true that he was verbally harassing you and pushed you into the pool.
At any rate, it sounds like he's willing to meet, so let's meet and talk. Then my husband managed to get the evidence before the meeting, and days later, we went to the meeting place. Then came that high school boy who pushed me down, and his mother. The mother was condescending from the moment she arrived. My son says he didn't. Are you sure you're not mistaken? No, your son certainly pushed my back.
What? I didn't push.
Her son is still the same as he was at that pool, joking around and showing no remorse at all. Don't lie to me. You certainly pushed me.
Huh? What are you talking about, lady? Your body was off balance, and I reached out to help you. You can ask my friend who was with me if you want.
I can't trust a friend like that. I'm pretty sure they're talking to each other anyway. I heard you're pregnant. Is that why you're being a little irrational? I'm angry how your son says he didn't do what he did and shows no remorse. But my son says he didn't do it, right? Fine then. You're after the alimony anyway, right? What? My son, you see, has been accepted to a very prestigious university, so I don't want this kind of accusation. Let's just get this over with. The mother then placed a thick envelope in front. It's not about the money. Oh my, are you trying to get me to raise the amount of money? Seriously? Seriously? Poor people. I see. So you're just going to keep your mouth shut. Can you say the same thing when you see this? Uh-huh. What? I showed them a certain video in which a schoolgirl was seen playing.
Yay! Hey, don't film!
What is this video? Since you're both keeping quiet, I've enlisted the help of a friend to spread the word online so I could find some witnesses.
Seriously, stop! Not the armpit!
Then, one of the girls sent this to me. What? Watch the one on the left? I said, and turned the volume up.
What are you looking at?
Then the male student and I could be seen in the video, and the whole conversation could be heard.
Get out of my sight.
Do you still want to keep your mouth shut after seeing this? They both turned blue when they saw the footage. I'm sorry. Please, forgive us. You need to apologize too.
I'm so sorry.
There is no forgiveness. Because of your son,
I fell into a deep pool and was carried away to where I couldn't get my footing. If people find out about this, oh, my son's life. I almost died with my own child in my belly. If you're a mother, you should know how I feel. If your son had just acknowledged and apologized from the beginning, none of this would happen. But neither my husband nor I are willing to forgive you. We will send this to your son's school. After saying this, the mother broke down crying and her son was shocked. And then her son's admission to a very prestigious university, which he had been accepted to, was scrapped, and he was to take a year off. And then the whole school found out about it, and the other students, especially the girls.
I can't believe it. You're the worst.
I hear he's become a recluse after graduation, but I think he deserves it. I heard his mother's husband also found out and started blaming her for getting his admission to the college revoked. So they've been living apart. After that, I went through the last month of pregnancy without incident and gave birth to a healthy baby boy.
Mom, the baby's so cute.
Yes, he is. Be a good sister, okay?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
I was really scared about this incident, but I'm going to enjoy the pool as much as I can when my son grows up, because I couldn't enjoy it this time.
I'm Tsuyoshi, and this is my cousin Jiro. He was a grown man, but he was still obsessed with his mother. Mommy!
Hey, baby.
She loved him very much. She still treated him like a child. It was a bit too much, though.
Open up.
Many of the relatives told her to stop, but she didn't listen. Jiro's father, my uncle. I'm off. My aunt and Jiro ignored him. It was as if he didn't exist. Then, one day, Jiro is getting married. My father told me. I was kind of surprised. I mean, this guy still calls his mother Mummy, and she even helped him get dressed. So it was hard to believe that he was getting married. My parents attended the wedding a few weeks later.
Jiro's wife was much older than him, but she was really pretty.
I still can't believe it. I wonder how they met.
No idea. I didn't ask.
Apparently his parents introduced her to him, or something. I'm sure his parents are relieved. His mum's probably gonna miss him, but I hope things work out for them. They treated my uncle like crap. His wife's parents handed him their business a few years ago, but his wife called all the shots. We were kinda worried about him. Anyways, I still can't believe it. I thought his mother would be really opposed to this, so... Oh well, I guess she came to her senses. So that was that. But then, about 6 months later, I got a call. Jiro's wife. She collapsed at work and was rushed to the hospital. They called Jiro and her mother, but they didn't pick up. So they called our house. It was the weekend, so we were all at home. We all went to see her at the hospital. Then, the doctor told us that his wife was pregnant. The doctor also told us that she collapsed due to overworking. It was nothing serious, but the doctor told her to take it easy. Overworking? But she's pregnant. That's odd. Something was up. When we got to her room, she was already packing up her things.
What are you doing? You're supposed to be resting. But I don't have money to pay the hospital bills, and I got work to do.
She looked terrible. We all realized something was terribly wrong. She was nothing but skin and bones, and her hand was shaking.
Oh, what on earth happened to you? You're pregnant, right? Why are you so skinny?
My mum went up to her and hugged her. She started crying. But then Jiro and his mother walked in.
What are you doing? Let's go. We can't afford to stay here. Or what? You got savings on your own?
Yeah, and you missed work. What's wrong with you? Come home now and make me something to eat. They tried to drag her out of there. But then my father said, "Stop it. She's collapsed. Let her rest. What's wrong with you?" Stay out of it. If she's not gonna work or do housework, what's the point of having her around? I can divorce her anytime I want, you know. You should be grateful that I took you under my wing. And you agreed to all this before we got married, remember?
But you took all my savings too. I never agreed to that. And I can't do everything around the house, not when I have the full-time job. But that was the deal. Why else would he marry an old woman like you? And you get to live at our house for free. You should be thanking us.
We couldn't believe what we were hearing. Your husband. He's okay with this.
He's got no say in this.
Hey, I'm a lawyer. If you want to get a divorce, I can help. Yeah, I'm a lawyer too. I don't have much experience yet, but let us help you.
Okay, thank you.
So she decided to leave Jiro. I'm surprised she lasted this long. My uncle was the only one who was nice to her, but there wasn't much he could do to help. And my aunt and Jiro.
You're not gonna do work or do housework? Fine, get the hell out!
Get out of here. I'm not giving you a dime. There was just no talking to them. But my uncle, he gave her some money to help her start a new life. Sorry about everything. I'm not sure how he got that money, but don't worry about it. My dad asked him a few times, but he never told him. We were worried about him. Then, a few weeks later... What? We got a call one night, and my uncle passed away. He was fighting cancer for many years. I knew he was starting to put his will together, but I didn't think he'd go so soon. Jiro and his mum didn't even show up at the hospital. Dad! They showed up at the funeral to make appearances, but they were terrible actors. They didn't even help us clean up afterwards. Okay, ready? A few days later, my uncle's lawyer called a meeting to talk about my uncle's will. It said, the only asset I own is the land underneath the company, but I mortgaged it to take out a loan for the company. As for my savings, my wife was in charge of that, so if there's anything left, they can have it. But then, Jiro and his mother flipped out when they heard this.
Hold on, he mortgaged the land? What the hell? That was supposed to go to Jiro.
Mommy, what about the insurance money?
Right.
Sorry, but he canceled all of his policies a few months ago.
What? No way. That can't be.
My guess is he cancelled his policies so that he could pay Jiro's ex-wife for damages. Jiro and his mother were very upset.
This is ridiculous.
There's nothing I can do. Eventually, they gave up and left. But a few days later, something happened. I was watching TV at home at the time. I heard a loud noise right outside the door. My mum and I ran out. It was a car accident, and there was someone on the floor. It was my dad. Dad, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. He was hurt, but I don't think it was anything that serious. Thank goodness. But then, when I looked over at the car, it was Jiro. He was unconscious, so I called the ambulance. A few hours later, he woke up in the hospital. Turns out, he tried to hit my father on purpose. He was pissed about his father not leaving him anything in the inheritance, and for some reason he thought it was my dad who put him up to it. The police found multiple weapons in his car. He got charged with attempted murder and got sent to prison. I knew he was crazy, but I wasn't expecting this. I was worried that his mum might try something, but after Jiro was arrested, she got dementia. So I guess I won't have to worry about her. Well, thank goodness. Unfortunately, Jiro's ex-wife had a miscarriage after the divorce. I felt really bad for her, but I'm sure they're all in a better place now. Rest in peace.
My name is Tomomi Shirasaka. I'm a sophomore in college and I am studying law. I moved to Tokyo when I started college and live alone in the city. I was having a great student life, but the person that moved next door to me recently is a little insane. At night, he would bang against the walls and I could hear him yelling. Again, I told the building manager about this.
Hawaii, damn it!
Oh my god, he's so loud. He's always yelling and screaming every night. What is he doing? I can't go to sleep like this. The reason he was yelling was because he was a streamer on YouTube. He would yell and run around until late into the night, so I complained about the noise to the building manager, but it didn't seem to get any better.
You have some really bad bags under your eyes. Are you getting enough sleep?
Well, actually...
I'm not sure all of them are bad people, but these annoying YouTubers. Ugh.
He's so noisy every day, I just can't get any sleep.
What can we do?
The professor was also worried about me, so I thought that this shouldn't be able to continue. I decided to confront the neighbor directly. Excuse me? It's your neighbor.
What? What do you want?
My name is Shirasaki. I live next door. I'm sorry if this offends you, but can you be a little more quiet at night?
What? Where are you telling me how to live my life?
No, that's not what I mean. I just want you to be a little quieter at night is all.
Dude, I have my own lifestyle. You understand? My work is late at night. Get it?
Then can you just be a little more quiet?
There are always idiots like you who don't listen to others and just push their opinions on you. You're so annoying. Get the hell out of my sight.
He yelled at me before slamming his door shut. What? I'm sure no matter what I said, he wouldn't listen. I was scared that he raised his voice too, so I decided to keep to myself from now on. I guess I just have to move. I don't have any money though. Then, one night, it happened. What's going on? I was watching TV in the living room when someone was knocking at my door without ringing the doorbell. It was very loud. I went to the front door and I saw my neighbor there. I opened the door because it was banging against it so violently. Can I help you?
Hello, everyone. This is the whiny, ugly college neighbor I was telling you about.
My neighbor and some random man I didn't know was there and they walked into my room. What's going on? What is this about?
All right, this is a room of a current female college student. What, you don't have a boyfriend or something? This room looks like it hasn't even seen a man before.
Stop! They wandered around my room without taking their shoes off and pointed the camera at me. Apparently they were live streaming and the man who wasn't recording anything just showed me the chat. There was a video of my surprised face and a chat full of people laughing about it.
You're on stream. People who want me to bring justice to whiny women like this, type 1 in the chat. Dude, guys, there's only ones in the chat. I knew it. People like this need to be put in their place, huh?
What are you doing? Stop! You don't have permission to be here.
I just moved here recently, but thanks to all of their support, I'm able to move to a better place. I should just tell everyone where I live now, huh?
What?
The address is Tokyo City District 2, Block 3, Apartment Square Triangle. If you come here, this ugly bitch is here, so you can help us bring justice to her.
He didn't even look over here and told all the strangers on the internet my address. My face and address was revealed to the internet. I was terrified and sent into panic. I didn't know what to do after this. I can't live here anymore. If anything, maybe there would be people that would try to come here. I don't know what they would do. I need to run away. By the time I started moving, it was already too late. The other man moved behind me and grabbed my boobs.
We're gonna have fun now.
The man spoke to the camera before the streamer climbed on top of me. Stop! Let go of me! I was fighting back, but the second I gave up, there was a sound coming from the door.
It's the police! Open up!
The room fell silent.
What? Why are the police here? I'm sure it's just a joke. This is the police! Open up! Oh, come on. One of my viewers must be messing with us.
The two were obviously shaken up, so I took my chances. Help me! I screamed from the top of my lungs. The door swung open and several police officers ran inside. They saw what was happening and my neighbors were slammed into the ground.
Damn it! Why the hell are the cops here? There was a report of someone assaulting a woman at her house. You're under arrest for suspicion of unlawful entry into a private residence. I didn't do that. We were just having a good time. Damn it! Who the hell called the cops? I'm gonna have them by their balls. Stop resisting! If you resist anymore, you're gonna add more charges to the list.
The two didn't stop resisting, but in a few minutes, they were in cuffs and escorted into police cars. I was taken to the police station to talk about what happened before the police called my parents to pick me up. I went back home with them. Apparently, quite a few people were calling the police reporting what was happening to me. The stupid neighbor even politely gave my address to everyone so the police were able to show up in a hurry. Afterwards, they were charged with criminal trespassing and failure to vacate a private premises, along with several other charges. They were both sentenced to 3 years with no parole. Of course, I was no longer able to stay at my house, and since my privacy was non-existent thanks to them, I was able to sue them in the civil courts for damages. I was awarded $50,000 in damages. This whole thing wasn't just limited to internet news either. Many mainstream TV news picked up the story and his real name, along with his face were revealed for the public to see. After he gets out of prison, I'm sure he's got a tough time ahead of him. There is no way he can go back to what he did before. If anything, he probably won't even be able to find a job flipping burgers. I was able to use that money to move to a new house. He was ordered to delete the stream as well, so after time, people will forget about me.
I'm so sorry about that, Shitasaki.
Sorry for causing so much worry.
I cannot believe they would livestream all of that. I really don't know what kids are thinking nowadays.
I mean, yeah, I was terrified, but someone called the police while they were watching. I'm glad that not everyone who watches that crap enjoys it.
Great. I'm glad I helped.
Huh? Are you?
You told me the channel name, remember? I was watching, so I called the police. I was worried, but I'm glad nothing happened. Next time, I hope you have better luck with your neighbor.
Thank you, Professor.
I'm Tanabata Hoshihiko, and I live with my wife and son. We live in an apartment complex owned by a company, and some of my colleagues and juniors live in the same complex. And my neighbour, Yusuke, who lives next door, is in the same department, so we occasionally exchange casual messages. One day while I was working late, Yusuke called me out of the blue.
You free for a minute? I need to talk to you about something.
Yusuke's voice sounds angry rather than grumpy for some reason.
What's wrong?
What the hell do you think you're doing? Leaving your kid on the balcony?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
It's Asumu. I thought I heard him crying from your balcony, so I went outside and found him crying all by himself.
Here, come on.
I rescued him using the emergency door, but that's too much. It's unacceptable.
Wait a minute, I'm not home right now. I had to work late today, I'm still at the office.
What do you mean?
Asumu on the balcony? It's 11:40, right? What about my wife?
I don't know. The lights were out, so I thought you guys were out leaving the kids.
No way! Atsumo is my precious son, I'd never do such a thing. I shouted to Yusuke, impatiently.
Yusuke couldn't forgive me for leaving the kids at this hour either. He said he lost his temper, so he apologized to me. And so I left the office in a hurry and went to Yusuke's place.
How is Atsumu right now? Is he okay?
He's wearing pajamas, but he was barefoot, so he's pretty cold. My wife's warming him up in front of the heater right now, giving him some warm soup.
Sorry. I owe you. And so I was taken directly to the room where Atsumu was waiting for me.
Dad?
Atsumu, sorry I'm late. I'm home.
Dad!
I'm sorry, I didn't notice. I'm sorry I left you alone. Atsumu hugged me with tears in his eyes when he noticed me. Then I moved Atsumu, who had fallen asleep from relief, to the futon that was prepared for him. I'm sorry. I really appreciate your help. What are you talking about? Atsumu is my son's friend too. What are you going to do about this? You're not just going to let this go, are you?
Yes. How can someone leave a small child like this outside?
Yusuke's wife was also shedding tears as she watched Atsumu sleeping. Of course, I'll contact my wife now, so please take care of Atsumu. Okay. I left my son to Yusuke and decided to give my wife a lesson. I texted my wife and she didn't answer, so I decided to call her. She didn't answer for a while. It was getting late, so maybe she's trying to get away with being asleep. But if she was, that'd be a problem in and of itself. It's January, and it's totally insane for her to leave my son outside while she goes to sleep. So I called my wife over and over again, and after a few phone calls.
Shut up! What do you want?
Sorry, were you already asleep?
Yes. What is it?
Well, I just got a call from a co-worker who lives in the same apartment complex, and he said he saw a kid who looked like Atsumu. I just thought I'd check.
What? Atsumu?
I see my wife flapping on the other end of the phone, and I hear the window open in the next room. And I guess she noticed that Atsumu wasn't on the balcony. I immediately said to my wife, "Atsumu's sleeping, right?"
Yeah, he's sleeping, but I'm worried about him, so I think I'll go check on him.
That's okay. I mean, what kind of kid walks around at this time of night? Maybe he saw a ghost.
No, I'm still curious. I'll go check it out.
I can see my wife panicking. She doesn't even know he's in the neighbour's house. So I decided to make her even more upset. It's okay, they said they're going to call the police just in case. Atsumu's there, so it's fine, right?
The police?
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Well, anyway, I'll be home soon, and Atsumu will feel better once he sees me.
What? Why are you coming back home?
What's the big shock?
Because you said you were going to work late today, so you were going to stay at a business hotel nearby.
Yeah, I was, but I finished earlier than I expected, so I'm going home. I'm already in front of the house. It made me think of Atsumu too.
What?
After hearing that, my wife hurriedly opens the front door, and she's trying to stop me from entering. What's the matter? Why are you in such a panic?
No, it's nothing. I'm more worried about you coming home suddenly. I haven't even prepared a meal.
Already ate at the office, so I'm not hungry. Anyway, you slept with your makeup on? I'm sorry for barging in on you like this. Don't worry about me. You can go back to sleep. I try to get in the house as I push the front door, but my wife wasn't budging.
It's okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. I ran out of breakfast bread, so go to the convenience store.
I'm fine with rice. Worst case scenario, I'll pick something up on my way to work. What's going on with you? It's like you're trying to stop me from coming in.
That's not true. But Atsumu will be in trouble without bread.
You're the one in trouble, right? You're probably freaking out because Atsumu's not on the balcony.
What? How do you know that?
So I told her that Atsumu was being kept next door, and my neighbour Yusuke had contacted me. And after I told my wife that I knew everything she said earlier was a lie, I slammed the front door open, and just like I'd expected, there was a man I'd never seen before.
No, this is not what you think.
You are so stupid. You think it's okay to make excuses after someone sees something like this? Idiot.
This guy is a friend of mine, and...
Huh? Then why is the guy not wearing any clothes? You're out of your mind, throwing my kid out of the house. I'm gonna punish you two to the hilt. So I took a picture of the guy's driving license and sent him on his way. And then I packed up my wife's belongings. Get out, now! And threw her and her stuff out of the house.
Hey, open the door! It's freezing! I'm freezing!
Wife pounding on the front door.
I'm sorry! I apologize. Please let me in.
Who let the kids out on the balcony in their pajamas under such circumstances? When I said this, she suddenly became quiet and went somewhere. If you're making noise at this hour, what will the others say? They'll know right away that you were kicked out for having an affair. After that, I went to Yusuke's house to pick up my son. Yusuke and the missus, I'm really sorry I got you involved in our mess.
Good work.
What a shock. No, it's okay. At least Atsumu is safe. Want some beer?
Yes, Atsumu is sleeping soundly, so why don't you stay the night too? Tanabata. By all means.
I took their word and slept with Atsumu on their futon. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm getting hungry again. And the next day I went home and told the company what had happened. And with Yusuke's encouragement, I was able to get some time off.
Oh, Dad, you don't have work?
Yeah, let's play later. I got a lawyer to help me with the divorce. At the same time, I explained everything that had happened to both my parents and hers. Naturally, my wife's parents were furious. My wife was back at her parents' house that night, telling them she had a fight with me for having an affair. I can't even say what I'm more disgusted by. When my mother-in-law heard the truth, she beat her hard with a futon.
Can you still call yourself a mother? What do you mean you had a fight? Ouch! Stop it, Mom!
My father-in-law was on his knees apologising to me.
I'm so sorry. Your son, is he fine?
Yeah, a couple of neighbours protected him while he was crying.
Thank God. I'm so glad.
But I'm already divorcing my wife. I can't forgive her for having an affair. But on top of that, I can't believe the nerve of someone who put their own child in a situation where he could die if something went wrong. My in-laws nodded and dropped down when they heard my words, as they should have. And to be honest, they were good grandparents to my son, which makes it all the more regrettable. But I didn't want to be connected to my in-laws, because that would mean I'd have to be connected to my wife.
Otsumu.
So I had no choice but to cut off all ties with my in-laws. Say goodbye, okay? I also thought that by doing so, my wife would see firsthand what she had done. I then did some research on the man and sent a certified letter to his home. Apparently, the man's name was Masuo, and he lives with his wife and her parents in a two-family home. You can imagine what happened when he got this letter. I heard that his wife's parents built the two-family house for them, and after getting divorced, the alimony was more than 10 million yen. Oh, no! My wife was disowned by her parents and had to pay alimony to me.
So sleepy.
She starts with an early morning job at a convenience store, then works at a family restaurant at night. You were waiting for me again.
I will never cheat on you again, so forgive me.
She says this, but the reason why I decided to divorce her is not because of the affair, but because of what she did to my kid. You're not fit to be a mother when you can't even understand that. I've been living with my son in an apartment complex ever since. I have a caretaker and my mother to help me feed and take care of my son until he's older. And the neighbour's wife invites me to have dinner with them too, so I'm living happily with my son.
Let's play Minecraft after dinner.
Even though his mother is gone because of this incident. I'm going to raise my son right as a single father.
It was Christmas season. There were Christmas lights all over the town, and it was freezing out, but everyone was walking around with a big warm smile. Oh well, everyone except for me. I hated Christmas. It reminds me of something terrible that had happened to me years ago. I was in second grade at the time. It was Christmas Eve. I was out with my family. We were going out to a nice restaurant. We were waiting at this intersection.
You think Santa will come?
Yeah, but only if you've been a good girl.
Oh, Satsuki, don't worry. I'm sure Santa will come. You're the sweetest girl ever.
Yeah? Yay!
I was having a great time with my family, but then someone pushed my mom from behind. She went flying towards the road and got hit by a car. It all happened so fast.
She got run over.
Call 911.
People started to panic. My dad and my brother rushed over to her. I couldn't move though. I just stood there, crying. Then, one of the guys behind me grabbed the guy who pushed her. Then, the driver came out.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She came out of nowhere.
Then he fell to the ground and started crying. Someone called 911 for us. A few minutes later, the cop arrived. The guy who pushed her was screaming. I couldn't believe this was happening to me.
Mom, please don't die.
I ran towards Mom as they carried her into the ambulance. Dad pulled me away from her. I couldn't stop crying. Then the cops arrested the guy who pushed her. The next day, there was an article about the accident on the newspaper, but it just said a woman in her 30s got run over by a car. It didn't say anything about the guy who pushed her. The guy who did it was a total stranger. He didn't even know my mom. He used to be homeless or something. After Mom came home from the hospital, these guys from the homeless support group came over to our house. They started telling me about the guy who pushed my mom. He was a local business owner. but his company went under a few years ago. He got a new job right afterwards to pay off his debt, but he got fired in less than a year. He had to get a job, but the economy was rough, and he was already in his 50s. He couldn't find work anywhere. He was unemployed and got up to his neck in debt now. His wife and daughter left him soon afterwards. He decided to make a run for it. He started living at one of those internet cafes, but soon he ran out of money and he had no choice but to live out on the streets. He built a small shed near the river and spent the next few years there. Then, the guys from the homeless support group found him and took him in. So, why did he push my mom into the street? According to him, he did it because he felt lonely. But it was Christmas season, and there were happy families everywhere, and this pissed him off. And my mom, she reminded him of his ex-wife. That's why he chose her. He knew it wasn't her, but he didn't care. But then, the guys from the support group said to us,
Look, he's a victim in all this too. Will you settle? Yeah, please give him another chance.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The guy was charged with attempted murder, so he was going to jail for sure. But if we settle, they were willing to reduce the sentence to 3 years or so. My mom was fine, by the way. She had a thick coat on and a thick scarf around her neck, so she went unconscious for a bit, but it was nothing serious. She only had to stay at the hospital for 3 days. Then, one of the guys said,
Look, you got a loving family, and you were able to come home in 3 days. But him? He's got nothing. And if you don't settle, you might end up in jail for 5 years or more. If that happens, he'll never be able to get back on his feet, so please, give him another chance.
He started begging us to settle. Then my dad said to him,
You guys got a family too, right? Would you say the same thing if he came after your wife? Will you still give this guy another chance, huh?
He asked them. They paused for a second, then said,
But your wife, she was fine. I'm just saying.
He mumbled under his breath. My dad finally lost it.
How dare you! Get the hell out! Never come here again!
My dad never raised his voice like this. We were in the other room, but we could hear him loud and clear. He kicked them out of the house. Then,
Get me some salt.
he asked my brother to grab some salt from the kitchen. He threw them at them on their way out. I was watching the entire thing from my room upstairs. For some reason, I couldn't stop crying. And my dad and my brother, they were crying too. Mom was really upset too. She stayed in her room for the rest of the day. The guys from the support group never came to our house after that. Needless to say, we didn't agree to any deals. We pressed full charges. The guy got sent to prison for a very long time. Personally, I think it was way too short, but whatever. I was just glad that he was gone. We were relieved, but then something unexpected happened. We started getting these hate messages. She probably did something to deserve it. Get out of this town, you slut. And it went on and on like that. Then it got worse. Someone started shoving garbage in our mailbox, and this one time, someone put a dead cat in there. This went on for a while, but a month later, they finally caught the guy who was doing all of this. My dad caught him red-handed. He found him putting up hate messages on our door one evening. It was that guy from the homeless support group.
I did nothing wrong. All I asked was to give him another chance, but they pressed full charges.
He said to the cops. A few months later, the homeless support group got dissolved. Not sure why exactly. I heard rumors that they always went a bit too far with their cause, so Maybe that's why. Fast forward 20 years, I still had flashbacks from time to time during Christmas season, but this year, it was different, and I knew why. I was about to have a baby, and I was due on Christmas Eve. For the first time in 20 years, I had something to look forward to on Christmas.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe.